Alright, we're back. We're going. Let's do this. Let's figure it out. Let's finish this. Let's go. Mario was indeed playing it up for the drama. It was a success on a pretty good drama roll. Alright, we've done the ballistics, planted the tower. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You have been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
That's the best uninterpreted line of sight into the window of all Martinez. The view was perfect with a pair of binoculars I could have seen in the room.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck.
Rude.
Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Dramatically ask, you think we have the murder weapon? I'm calling it we have the murder weapon.
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it we have the murder weapon.
Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
What did I
Wait,
forget?
here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here, and Maybells on Clausia's balcony, and nowhere else. Nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them.
Maybells behind the victim's... Pardon me. Maybells behind the victim's window. I saw them growing here. Point to them.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly, nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
A woman named Claudia, ring any bells? Flowers like these were behind her window.
Clausier.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the withering field of flowers and falls silent, and his muscles in his jaws twitch a spasm.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. dripping with blood,
He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law.
beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner.
We got him, boys.
Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fist begins to tremble from anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
Hold your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he
And you
gives.
were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very
The
slowly.
old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side and turns his eyes to the city, another tremor passing his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
You pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
Critique?
You've got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift. Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
When did you first see the deceased?
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley. Her honor guard came in tow.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
By that do you mean Joyce Mellier, the Wild Pines rep?
Wrinkled up whore.
What is it with you and these words? Kim, cough, moving on. The victim
We
arrives.
moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reactionary radio playing, sloppy and drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and Mesk phalangs weren't conscripts. Boys like us. They were whites. All they know is to destroy and hurt. Barely alive. They like to kill while they're on their drugs. After the landing, in the burning years, I would take shots at them. End them. The worst ones, if I had a bullet to spare. I could see they've returned now to show their real face. The face they don't dare show their bourgeois voters back on Mundi. with their families and polyester clothes.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them fucking. I didn't like that.
You were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
He wants to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
How long have you been... you wanted to punish her, so you killed him?
She practically breastfed that man.
Ugh.
You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
He shakes his head and stares at the ashes.
While he stands here and rots.
Say nothing.
The old man raises his gaze. Something glimmers in the corner of his black eye. A bitter taste on his tongue.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on a ghost? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
And beautiful.
That, too.
He nods.
How could you see what she looked like? You said it was dark.
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more fags and snorted a line of whatever shit she was on right there. She needed it just to move.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
This is the hidden boy she told us about. You looked into it?
After she was gone,
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
Didn't you have a fake name on the documents? You saw her name on the passport, but before when I said her name, you didn't recognize it.
You didn't say Clausia in there.
At that. What did it say?
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo.
Alright, moving on.
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks. And a body hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you.
How did you see all this? The bruises that she was beaten?
I'm not blind. am I?
How did you get close enough to see the bruises, Mr. Dross?
I have my ways.
What way is tell me?
Not in this lifetime, Dwat.
Oh?
On her. This one's gone. Make up somehow. Connect something else. Fast. You lost it.
Oh? One little thing missed and I drown in anxiety.
Rightly so. Fix this now. Push on extra carefully.
You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that why you left the dry flowers behind her window?
No,
Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells?
Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
You wanted to console her?
Maybe. I have these holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eye.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes. One more down.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away, but she let us hear she figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew.
He sighs.
She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lusanne's central aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south, smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Streetlights, towers, tenements, and water, and across it, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible, if she didn't squint her eyes. There, on a dilapidated jetty, in a nameless village, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a seafort stick out of the water, built by Philippe II, reappropriated by the Commune, then lost in the landing. He's there, doing what exactly I don't know. Satellite Officer Vicmer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
I mean, I don't really think there's anything else. I don't really care. You're under arrest.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting blacker and blacker.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Hearing 50%.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
Does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
This is not a
This
problem.
is a problem. Who watches over him while I come back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't.
Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Maybe just ask the net picker to watch him. No, ask her to come back.
This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now.
You could come back for me once you've taken it. I could come back for you once I've taken it to the precinct. Yeah, you can come back to me.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
No need to be polite, I'll do it.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this... us?
Your skin is crawling suddenly.
I'm not sure if I agree to take him or not.
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Blink.
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that point to
What
it?
are you talking about?
It's the giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
Oh my god, the plasmid.
You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand rise instinctively.
This is it, I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it.
Kim,
I can't
can you
make
see
out
it?
one small thing in the reeds.
I can see it.
He can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. The segmented antennae move with apprehension, searching for something. You, reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
It's 92%, but I'm going to put a thing in a... Wait, which one is it? Electrochemistry. I'm going to pop a point in it. Wait, I didn't do it. Hold on. I'm going to put a point in it because I can. 97%.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take in and expel air. It's smelling you. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam.
Stand on
The
your tiptoes.
stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Stand on your tiptoes and look more carefully.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish. The faintest smell like you've never felt before, like burnt roses.
Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one, letting out that same smell, like summer burning.
Tell me, what do you do? I'm banging a point in Inland Empire here. I ain't wasting this opportunity at all.
I exist.
I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
It is wunderbar.
Yes, holy is the Lord of hosts, and all the earth is filled with his glory. Now, I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist,
Intruded upon by what?
shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache.
Do you ice cream? I'm glad to be me, an incredibly sensitive instrument.
Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass. Eternal damnation, even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you.
It was very disorientating at first, but I'm keeping my crap together.
That must be incredibly hard. The Arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we're watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up. Bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater.
This is the coolest Twin Peaks, David Lynch, BS. Yeah, and I freaking love it.
Detective. Arriving. On the scene.
I am a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
Born to detect you.
Yes. No one detected me for such a long time. For thousands of years. I dithered, out of sight. Trapped myself in greenery.
This is my masterpiece.
No one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective. Dripping of blood that smells like strawberries. Across the calm sea. The first in 1,000 years.
Where does this come from, all this around us, the world?
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
We need to know. Perhaps it's sent to us by God. And all we can do is beat our fists against it day after day with no answer.
You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
What, is this a dream? What is happening?
No, you're awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmadia, endemic to the Insulandian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molting, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Samanese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Reverchol, district of Martinez, March 51.
I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts, that was all.
No, there is one more.
I've met you are the kindest.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class.
A woman.
You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it.
I will.
She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Raise your hand slowly.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence.
Put your hand down.
The invertebrate comes back to life, stridulating. Sets of complex eyes follow you, moving in tandem on either side of the insect's small head.
Okay, Kim, take the picture.
Okay.
With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in its hand. A polythene ghost of white streak against the reeds in the sky, and you as a shadow before
For
it.
all time.
Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the kiting curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. The sensation is electrifying, resounding through your body.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Carefully put petted side like forearm.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing.
Run your hand up the slender limb higher.
A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High above you, its black pearl eyes still glisten, mesmerized by the light passing its nervous system.
We got it.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Absolutely amazing. Disengage
As you're
slowly.
turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
Yo, that was dope.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
The lieutenant looks north with his head raised. It can walk on water? What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
It can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What now?
What now?
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Oh, the passport? No way.
This passport, issued by the Sovereign Republic of Oranje, is issued to a black-haired woman called Katarzyna Alazie.
Classia's hidden documents. From the MT boy.
Look at the photo.
It's Clausia, with short black hair and glasses. She looks boyish, younger somehow. An old photo, before life came and did what it does.
It says that name.
She said it would be for Anouk Meyer-Smith. Anouk Meyer-Smith.
Katarzyna Alazie was supposed to be her real name, where Clausia comes from. Remember? God damn it.
Who this is a real passport, not a fake, because this is a real name.
No, she lied to us. Her so-called real name was not her real name. Somehow she's managed to lie to us about that too.
That's
Maybe
what it
our
says.
man, Mr. Dross, took it from Classia's, or whatever her name was. Hiding place, or...
I think the plasma took it. The plasma took it, and I sensed it do it. I saw something open up. The boy with spiny legs.
Like a magpie? What a coincidence. Then it would also have collected the other objects, which would be highly unusual.
By now, the lieutenant has accepted your unusual methods.
I don't
Real
know,
name.
but it's not Katarzyna Alazie, or Clasia, or Anouk Meyer-Smith. We didn't even scratch the surface with her, detective. Perhaps it's better that we didn't arrest her. Who knows what hell she'd be raising in my district by now.
Put the passport away. Right, so we were about to arrest you. Sorry about that.
What is it? What do you want from me?
So
Now,
how
come on, go.
could you not see the phasma?
See.
Stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Dross?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing, like an addict of some terrible substance.
Touch his shoulder gently.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
We found things in the
He
Phantom's nest.
stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him.
Show
Perhaps
him.
you should.
Show him the passport.
No reaction. His breathing is slow, and he appears very old all of a sudden. Around 80.
Did you take this passport and other papers from a boy on the coast?
The spirit.
He hears us. The spirit?
No reply.
He's gone
He's
again.
gone again.
Try something else? We got...
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched, and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal.
What happened?
old age and shock.
I think it's the fat bits.
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke.
He couldn't see it, Kim. It's just reads for him.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dross,
He touches the man's shoulder.
No response.
Maybe this is how the Phasma has stayed hidden all these years?
then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
Yeah, you forget it's there.
Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds? The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57.
He's been here for a long
This is
time. Who knows
a
how
little
much of it
advanced
is
for a
in
nurse.
his company?
He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this.
Uh-oh.
This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
No one would believe you without it.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
I like take this. Okay. The heck? Oh, this is the door. Okay, I guess we just speed run. He could totally be faking it, by the way. So like that seems oddly pointless, but here we are. Take him, handcuff him to something, come back. Easy as that. Send Lillian back in the boat. You could do so many things. And this is what we opt for.
The skiff is swaying on the way.
Let's. We are done here.
So bit of an odd way to go about it, but here we are.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet, but for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. Two men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea, you reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought him.
It's the man without sunglasses. His expression changes and he tilts his head.
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
Forget about this. There's a
We're
giant.
not forgetting about anything. Look at you,
No one else seems bothered by my bleeding.
bothered by it. Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Who are you
Hello,
people?
Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Kemar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you after pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us. We might need your help with something later.
He had suddenly regaining his
As
confidence.
if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
No, Kim, you gotta have my back. Let's destroy them.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
What's this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trant, I believe this is where you come in?
This is the horse-faced woman. I don't know why you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should never address her using those words again.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trant, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit, kid. What an interesting moniker.
You're not even blonde. You, not to the female officer. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you before. Yeah, I'll say that.
It's okay. I didn't come here to gloat or to fool you. Neither did he, actually.
She gestures.
We're just worried.
That's right. Worried. I'm always worried about you. Every time you don't show up to work, or when you do but stink, you're a worry fest. She's worried about you. I'm worried about you. Even Special Consultant Backpedal is worried about you. Everyone worries instead of working.
You mentioned a task force?
Major Crimes Unit under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Yeah, totally get it.
He doesn't remember.
See? He really doesn't remember. It wasn't a sick joke. At least that's good.
Yeah, that's very good.
So, this guy?
Yes, I'm Trant Heilerstam.
What was
I
up with...
never said I wasn't Trant Heilerstam.
What was up with the kid, then?
Mikhail? Mikhail's my son.
What's up with all interesting history spying on me?
No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence.
Him being there with his son, it was not a coincidence.
So what
it's
are
difficult
you...
to see, but he was worried about you.
What
and
are you...
also
Oh.
interested in the Feld building.
So what are you specially consulting here?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on.
Alright. Where have you been all this time? There was a mercenary tribunal.
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
So you left me face a squad of trained killers alone just to teach me a lesson. Why didn't you detect or die then? Why would you leave a literal police guard? I said all those things. I'm not like that anymore.
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
I've said all those things. I'm not like that anymore.
Sure. You're not a superstar law official. Talk on the town is your Guillaume Le Million reincarnate. I know this shit. Nothing has changed.
I'm actually sober now though, and a superstar. None of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, e-solar, pound, and so on.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you?
I drank so much,
Neurologically,
I lost my...
psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Might have something to do with an anomaly in the church too, and then meet a hole in the world. I'm highly experimental detective. This is my method to solve the case. Something so had happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism. Go with that.
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant. I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what? I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
Uh-huh.
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
The two cases in your ledger. The unsolvable case and the Next World mural. Those were recent. Those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
He gestures towards the scenery.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Leadership. Now.
I'm ready to lead again.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension? Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Just stand
Yeah. Just stand there. No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
It was stolen by Jacob. That wasn't me. It was stolen by traffic hooligans. I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk. Thought the killer would be underwater. Time had come to kill the sunset. I was drunk and drove it into the ocean.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
I got my badge right here.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
Glad, let's chuck a point in that just for lols. It's great, let's do 2. There we go, why not? Failed it anyway. Oh well.
You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground, some 2 meters away. Ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that stupid
Gonna heal that.
Damn.
He found it. He found it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
As if having your badge and
Gun.
natural
Just keep going.
states.
My gun is
not
right here. Show him the
achievements.
gun.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
So it doesn't even matter that I found my gun. I quit drinking forever. It's only me on the boring hellhole now.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
Hold on, I just haven't washed myself after the autopsy. It may be because of the pheromone. Yeah, I've handled an actual corpse. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smell bad. None of this matters. My other situation is meaningless compared to what I've discovered. Yeah.
A bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let a suspect escape, a certain Clasier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Badger was some sort of kind of spy from the Occident, specially trained. No, taking her in... Not taking her in was the right thing to do. She gave a vital clue that led us to the island. Yeah, I let her go on act of mercy on behalf of the city of Revachol. She is waiting for the return. Small detail in a huge case you know nothing about.
Sure, if it's part of your master plan. Let's not even get into the other suspect who also escaped. Another detail? Or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 7 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped out. Where the hell were you?
Don't make this harder for yourself.
He says alone.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He brushes a straight strand of hair out of his
He
eyeglass.
thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Ep30Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
Nope.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. He
says
says
disco.
disco about 20 times a day. It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd.
You should yell something.
Policeman of the state to crime. It's not a good idea.
Yes, let's let the big boys talk.
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort.
He really
He
sang
really
his heart out.
sang his heart out.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo and shows it to the officers across the yard. Thick white snow falls all around you. Flakes stick to the glossy photo of the phasmid. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
So as you can see, I'm a pretty okay detective and a giant communist.
Fucking hell. Is this somehow connected to the case?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia. He fell into a stupor after its appearance.
24-hour
He
street,
became
maybe.
near catatonic.
It's probably not connected per se, but the perpetrator knew of its existence. The phasmid may have contributed to his mental state in some way over the years.
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes. It really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
His tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts
This
it.
is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
I also started a nightclub in the church. Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female, and the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
It gathered items in the nest. Behold, a passport.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They must be robust
bow.
if it can move a helmet
didn't mean to
with
do
its
that.
limbs.
I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
It told me.
Mm-hmm. Then it wouldn't matter if it's male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior from before the parthenogenetic mutation.
That makes sense. Yes.
Very interesting.
Agreed.
Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species. We're probably looking at conservation efforts here.
Completely right on your
Yes,
side.
but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian phasmid. No, that's too much.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it,
You shake
You're
his head.
doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still. Quit while you're ahead? Or no?
Now, let's tell them all. The killer Dross with a strong motive for him, and I also think the strike situation. I'm not going to say that. There's also a dead man on the boardwalk, a missing person I found.
yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
How did you know I found
The
him?
body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
Yeah, I also looked into the mystery of the Doom commercial area.
I don't know what a Doom commercial area is.
We're doing a small tenant commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. That looked into
Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here.
the next set of dialogue options.
There was a possible witness in there, and it was close to the crime scene. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay.
Of course. Call it community outreach, right?
I also started a nightclub in the church.
What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church.
Yeah, I did. And some kids have a solid, turn their lives around. Yeah, and I discovered a hitherto unexplored ectrophenomatical phenomenon, and there are a 2mm hole in the world.
That's great. Anthroponaut is a great new career for you. After police
Except
officer.
dialogue option.
I don't care. Go live in the Pale.
4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them in there. It's okay.
It's not that okay. Get off this subject now.
Alright, the killer.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
Yeah.
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc.
Did I relate?
Revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so
So,
they used matronyms.
I
derived
defo
from
did-
the mother's name
Hold on.
instead.
I did defo think Kudo was like trying to be a bit scouse, but like, you know, it was better than the scouse accent in Fable, so I'll say that.
This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
He killed the mercenary in act of jealousy.
Jealousy. I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
Babel was a historically accurate demonstration of British language to Americans. You didn't hear his old voice. Oh God, I can only imagine it's worse.
A strange psychosexual fascination, the result of
Fascination.
spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay, and trauma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that. Way more.
It's more than that. It's a perfect folding mechanism like a phasmid. It's way more than that. I'll win her back with this. It was like listening to him shout at you through the pub bathroom stalls. Oh no. It's a masterpiece. They'll teach this in cop school. I did all I could. Every single second was a struggle. I'm still not completely satisfied with it. It could be just a little neater.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work in bouts. Bouts don't last. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something.
Yeah, first playthrough. This looks pretty conclusionary. We had a few roadblocks, but we're nearly there. Nearly got soft locked, but we managed.
It will pass in time.
Oh, amazing. Also, CDR Darjeeling. I only know Darjeeling is from T, but it's very enjoyable. But yeah, this is easily one of the best games ever. Everyone should play it. So what do you say? I want to take this hot stuff back. Point to yourself.
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder.
He shrugs.
So I have to. Jude.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Quick nod.
You haven't been drinking, she thinks. So, maybe this time.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
I have a few questions before we go about who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
I might have to hit you, cop. I need to tell Lena about this ASAP.
Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
She lives in Jamrock on Tabernacle Road. She told me about the phasmid.
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
She looks.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the phasmid. It's their discovery, in part. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
Yeah.
She is going to be over the moon.
What will you do now, Kim?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol.
He pulls up his collar and looks around. Cold spring light reflecting the lens of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Le retour.
Wait, you mean the return? Want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of 2 captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I mean investigate. Come work with Precinct 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Would fit in. Am crazy enough. Can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first.
Yes!
But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
Yes.
He's really considering it.
All right, I've gotta ask about this.
No.
No, because the suspects seem to think.
You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you.
I assure
Fair.
you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit.
He would immediately backpedal out of it. I told you it's not that bad.
All right, Volition. All right, I'm ready. And
Fuck it, let's go. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive
Gene
to
is an
Jamrock.
absolute lad, for sure.
The great district hums in the slowly falling snow. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and chimney stacks. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41, to Boogie Street, forking into the white horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
We did it. We did it. You have this one. Sit down. Oh my days. I don't believe it. So I love that, like, all the actual subquests matter. Like, not only do you gain experience, but they actually matter, which is class. Genuinely class. I also love that, like, you can obviously essentially get through the majority of this, like, without doing all of that, and then get to this point and be like, well, did you even solve the murder, though? Yo, how long has this stream been? Yeah, it's casual 8-hour stream. Casual. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Hardcore. Game is certainly not about the murder, yeah. Hardcore! 8-hour stream! Just wow. Like, wow. Is the Innocence Dolores Day? I mean, oh man, there's just so much. Like, there's just so much. Can I can't skip this. Oh man, there's just so much. That was pretty good. Or a hardcore point redemption. Make a hardcore point. I might do, you know. On Dolores Day, I think, like, there's just so much lore that relates to. This is now getting really loud. I'm gonna reduce this volume a smidge. There's just so much incredible lore that builds the universe, like from the history to the way the religion and the mythos of the place combines. It's truly just exceptional. It's some of the best world built. Like, I feel like I was in there. I feel like I was part of it. And like, that's just class. That's a feeling I've had from very few games, very few pieces of media even. And it's just wild. I asked that weird specific question because there was a high chance you missed a certain part of it. So I read the book on the Innocents. I didn't get the visual calculus on the church. So like, I probably did miss it. I mean, but there's so much to miss. I try not to get, like, I'm not really a completionist, but I try not to get too wrapped up in missing everything. And in a way, I feel like there's a, you know, I had some skill points left. Apart from that bit where we got a bit stuck, things kind of bottlenecked getting into the Feld Electrics building. And the shivers plus then the savoir-faire and the physical check. Apart from that point, I always felt like I had choice and I could have gone in multiple directions to make that like happen and work. So even then, I feel like I really could have still got like a huge level of stuff out of it. I think, you know, I've just streamed for 8 hours and I was like, yeah, we'll just unscramble this. It'll be dead quick. But I was wrong. So I mean, this would have been like what, like 2-3 more streams, maybe. Maybe I'd have done a bit more. Maybe would have looked a bit more at the stuff. There isn't content you will have missed or shut yourself off from. It warrants many playthroughs. It warrants many playthroughs. Zach, thank you for the well done. Gosh, Mario. I was really happy with my build. I'm gonna say that. Like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I started, so I was really happy with that. Like, you know, Kim was like, he just gets people to talk, because my empathy and suggestion was really high. I'm not gonna be honest, I'm not gonna, but I do feel really compelled to do like a build with this, just invert it, do physical and motoronics, and be dead good with like all the reaction times and the physical stuff and like brute force things. Because I put a few points here and there in like shivers, and I put a few in perception, and it completely changed the way I interacted with the world. And that's fascinating. That's genuinely fascinating. I do think some of the like tasks are a bit cracked. Like, you know, the date with Lillian, I had like a 20-odd%, and stuff like that. But like suggestion was my key skill. I did the ledger. I looked through all the cases because I passed some time early on, and I found the thing in the back of it. And like, I think that let me work out where I lived. That was pretty cool, that thought process. There was still so many extra thoughts I could have learned. Like, again, I had skill points at the end. I could have bunked them into, like, just bopped them into that. It's just so good, man. So good. I do think, though, I think if I was going to be critical, that bottlenecking that I experienced towards the air thing. Oh yeah, the portraits are amazing. If I was going to be critical though, I do think that one bottlenecking was a bit annoying. Like, I had a really, really crap shiver percentage, so failed that twice. But then failed the encyclopedia check, which was in like a skill that I had better. But the side quest didn't boost that as much. So like that, and then getting into the building, I see why it's a bottleneck, because it's designed to make you go and do other stuff. It's very easy to waste your skill points if you forget thoughts. So there's maybe like a die by your choices kind of thing. So I'm slightly conflicted with it because I feel like it was a bit of a tight bottleneck. It was almost unfair. Like if you'd have gone for whatchamacallit, I remember the other thing now. If you'd have gone for psyche and pure motoronics or interfacing, whichever it's called, and you didn't have encyclopedia or shivers, I feel like you'd have to save scum, or like you'd really have to go and grind out text. And that's kind of, I feel like I ended up doing that, and like I've just streamed for 8 hours, so God knows how long that'd actually take if you physically had to grind. So I do think that almost makes you want to save scum, which is not ideal, but that's only in that one point, and I do think the rest of it would present you with enough different options. I would encourage everyone to play this, even if you've just sat and watched all the videos on YouTube, or if you watch the whole Let Play where they watch 5 minutes, because you will just have a different experience, and that's worth it. That's worth it. I would encourage everyone to play it. Not only is it amazing, not only is it one of the best written games ever, but like no two playthroughs will be the same, and that is phenomenal. Like, it truly isn't. Give me a TTRPG in this world. Like, I know it's not gonna happen because I know there's a whole thing around the game and the developers and stuff, but like, that'd be so sick. That'd be so cool. Just lower this a bit more. I realized like lowering it there doesn't actually lower it for me. It's just slightly loud. So I think that's my only real critique. That's the only real criticism of the game. Obviously, it's very gritty, very graphic. That's not maybe to everyone's taste, which is totally fine. That's a preference thing, you know. There's still so much more to scratch the surface at and go in and engage with, which I think is so cool. And it's been a journey. Like, I wanted to keep playing. I really wanted to keep exploring, and I wanted to solve the case. I do wonder if, because I almost think the actual case, you know, because the whole point is that the case is inconsequential, right? Like, the actual case doesn't matter in the end, you know, like, really, we know as much as we did at the start than we do now. A guy was killed. He was shot by a guy, right? So it's all about the nuance. It's all about the union versus the capitalist company. It's about the 2mm hole in the world, or 2cm hole in the world. It's about like regaining who you are as a human and trying to understand yourself in the world. Like, one thing I did notice that I think was really interesting is that you could have done a lot more with like physically taking drugs and drinking yourself to boost your stats, and like, I can only imagine that would have made like your internal voices go absolutely wild. But I didn't do that, and I stayed sober, and I actually completed the thought for that. So like, and then I wonder how all that would have affected the review at the end. So it's a piece of art, and this is what games not should be, because that's unfair. But I think this demonstrates the way games can be at their very best. Like, you know, in the same way I'd say that about Rebirth as well, right? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, this is how good games can be. You know? Alright, what happens if I click continue now? Does anything? Oh, I'm tired of that again. Right. Where do we load? I see him just plonk in. Oh, inspect the plasmid. Right. So yeah. What a game. What a game. There are a few games that make me wanna sit and play them solidly for 8 hours, and that is what we have done. Yeah, I could have done 2 more weeks. So now I have to think of a new game to play, but that's a me problem. But for those, Hoffa redeemed the Scouse ASMR. I'm sorry, Hoffa, I didn't actually see that. I charged you for it as well, because I thought it was something else. Can I redeem you those points? Well, I'll do it at the start of next stream. That's entirely on me. For those who have watched along on YouTube, if you've got this far, GG, because I mean, this is like well over. This is pushing Death Stranding for longest Let's Play. Like, I think. Thank you for the follow. I don't like to shout them out, but I appreciate it. I know you've already been in chat, but some people don't like the name being shouted out. Pardon Mario Bargain. He's very sad we finished the game. But yeah, if you've watched along on YouTube, I appreciate it. This Let's Play has been very, very good. It seems like lots of people have enjoyed it. And yeah, tune in for the next one. We'll possibly be doing something a bit similar, maybe very different. Who knows? But as a Let's Play, this has been fantastic. And I've enjoyed virtually every minute of it. You know what I mean? Mario, you're really cramping the style here, mate. You know what I mean? Anyway, YouTube, goodbye. Goodbye to YouTube. Future me edit this out.